to another M.S.M reviews, and today we'll be reviewing Game of Thrones Season 1, Episode 4. Let's get it started. Bran's having a dream about the three-eyed raven, and then he wakes up, and Theon is there, and comes in with Hodor to take him to Winterfell's Hall. And this is when we see Tyrion already made it to Winterfell, and is talking to Robb, and then gives him directions and blueprints pretty much for Bran to be able to ride a horse. And Robb appreciates this, and he's like, well, I didn't do it for you. I have a soft heart for bastards, broken things, and cripples. So you'll hear this line again later through the series. And Tyrion asked Theon, where is Lady Stark? He was kind of surprised he wasn't greeted by her when he arrived. Soon we'll find out. And then we cut back to the wall and we meet Sam. The first time we meet Sam. And then we cut to Daenerys and Khal Drogo getting to the city of the Horse Lords. We see Sansa Stark and the king in the king hall. She talks to one of her maidens and said, you will forgive Ned. And she's like, no, I would never forgive him. So that just pretty much, she was pretty much talking, kind of being a brat. Ned is dealing with pretty much the dealings of King's Landing, about how to manage this money in the King's court. And then Ned asks about Lord John, about his untimely death in the last book he read. And he gets the book. He gets the book and takes it with him to figure out why was this the last book. And it was book of all the kings and their sons and war subs, all the bus, pretty much, type of book. And then Ned sees Arya in the hallway. We see, and then we cut to, Ned talks to Arya in the hall and says, you'll be, you'll have daughters and be a lady of a great house. And she's like, no, that's not me. And she pretty much stands up and does her training, and Ned kind of looks at her and kind of reminds her of his sister, because Ned's sister was kind of like that. And we find out later through the series. Then we cut to John. We cut to John on top of the wall, and Sam comes up to John, and they start talking, and pretty much John says, you can't just lay there, you gotta fight. And he tells John why he was sent there, because John does ask, why are you here? And he pretty much tells him why he's here. And kind of shocks John, like, wow, you're a son of and you're not a bastard, but he treats you like a bastard, like really harshly. And they have a little funny exchange after, right before they end their conversation. I'm not gonna get any better, Sam says, and he's like, well, you can't get any worse. And they both laugh. So that's just when the friendship starts with Sam and John, which is pretty amazing. Then we cut to Ned is walking with Littlefinger, talking about information and whoever he trusts the most, give that information to your person. And tells him watch out because there's a lot of people who spies for everybody. Then we see them getting ready for the King's tournament, seeing the grounds getting set for King's Landing for the games. Then we cut to Ned. And he's at one of his rooms or something, and we see the Queen come in there and saying, "Why are you not at your tournament or whatever?" And I mean, he pretty much says why. I mean, it's not his tournament; it's the King's, pretty much. And there was a scene before that. Ned goes to the market to see this boy, Lord John, the one who died. See what was this boy he was meeting up with, and it turns out it's one of the King's bastards boys. And this brings Ned to try to discover more about, okay, what is going on here. And then we see Jon Snow talk to his friends, saying, "We not going to hurt Sam." When they are training, the asshole, the main guy you see, give Jon shit. His name's gonna be Asshole at this moment. Gets in his face, doesn't do anything, and says some small comments. And we cut to Daenerys' brother come in her tent and slaps Daenerys. And then Daenerys gets some type of metal and slaps her brother and gets a cut on his face. And he gets a shocked look like, "Why'd you hit me?" And he's like, "Asshole, you were hitting me. Fuck you." Yeah. You will not love Daenerys' brother. You actually be pretty glad when he gets his comeuppance. Then we see the start of the King's tournament. The girls, Arya and Sansa, see Littlefinger for the first time. And Arya asks, just plain blank, "Why do they call you Littlefinger?" And Littlefinger tells her, he tells them and her father why. And then we see Littlefinger tell the story of the Hound brothers, and how the Hound got his scar to Sansa. And it's not a pretty story. So that's pretty much in that scene. Littlefinger's telling her, and she looks at the Hound and just kind of like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that look." And we see the Hound like we really get a good shot of the hound, his skull, while Sansa looks at him. And Ned, we cut to Ned. Like I said earlier, we cut to Ned is in his room, and the Queen comes in. They talk, and we cut to Lady Stark at a inn, pretty much, and you know, pretty much has herself disguised and not trying to be seen. And then Tyrion comes in and asks for a room and whatnot. And one of these guys says, "You can have my room." And it turns out this would be the first appearance of Tyrion's friend, Pay Sword. And then Tyrion sees Lady Stark and says, "I was kind of disappointed not seeing you at Winterfell when I came." And then she gets up and dresses everybody from each house they're from. And Tyrion's kind of like, "Okay, that's honorable, all y'all." I mean, but asks Lady Stark what's the meaning of this, because Tyrion doesn't understand what the hell is going on. And then she asks the siege of Tyrion, pretty much asks them to arrest him, and so he can take Tyrion, so they can take in Tyrion to Lady Stark's sister's kingdom, so he can be tried for his crimes, supposed crimes. So the show ends with everybody drawing their swords towards Tyrion's neck, and he's just like, end of the episode. We have to say this episode was pretty good. Another cliffhanger, and this episode is the first time we see Tyrion's soon-to-be friend and Pay's sword, and one of the king's bastard that we see in this episode, that he will play a significant part through the series. So in this episode, it got me hooked even more to catch the next episode. So the only thing I can say is I enjoyed it, and if y'all got some enjoyment out of the episode, please like, share, and subscribe, and tell me how did you feel about this episode of Game of Thrones. And I'll catch y'all on the flip side.